Hello, welcome. This is the 6 yard box. You're welcome. This is the transfer of latest transfer news breaking in a couple of minutes ago. Sporting Lisbon have released a statement saying they are going to Victor Gyökeres is going to face a disciplinary action uh, for not showing up at training today. They gave him a couple of days off, and he was supposed to report to training today, and they didn't turn up. And they're saying he's going to face a disciplinary action. If you don't know the background, he's got an Arsenal. Arsenal are trying to get a deal for Victor Gyökeres. They're still in talks. It was reported a couple of weeks back, a couple of days back or weeks back, a couple of days back that the move was in the final stages, but obviously something is still holding up the move. And the player wants to move as well. He's been talking about he wants to go. There's a lot of disagreement in terms of gentleman's agreement, and that thing is turning out to be a mess. So, but Sporting on their side, they're playing hardball, and they're saying the player is going to be on the naughty stairs really, and they're gonna really punish him. Also, the one that everyone is talking about is the Morgan-Gibbs-white saga, triggered by the deal. Is a clause, release clause triggered by Tottenham a couple of days ago. That was on Thursday. Then on Friday, we had that Forest came back with a statement saying the deal was off and that Tottenham breached rules in terms of tapping up. And for me, I think my own view is, I think Forest are just playing hardballs. It took them the whole of Thursday. They didn't say anything on Thursday about this infringement of this release clause. And then it was on Friday that they realized, uh, you know, that there's been foul play on the part of Tottenham. Tottenham triggered the deal. The medical was booked for the Friday. Forest didn't say anything all Thursday. Then on Friday they realized, and that's why there's something not right. I understand Forest don't want to lose the player. I understand that's fine, but sometimes it's just that's just the way it is. Some people are saying that there's a non-disclosure agreement in the release clause. Then maybe Forest have a leg to sign on to stand on. And if Forest knew there was a release clause in there in the first place, they could have maybe, I don't know, increase the release clause or maybe take it out or whatever. If you know you want to get a lot of money for the player, more than what Tottenham is offering, and 60 million for the guy seems to be a fair price as well. So yeah, I think that one is just gonna drag on. So many people have been talking about this. So I'm just gonna listen to Sky Andrews, which is one of the super agents. I think it was the agent of Sol Campbell as well at some point, and I think he's still managing some players. And this is what he has to say about the old saga. I'm just gonna play the audio. I hope people can listen. I hope you can listen to it as well.
And bid for players. However, there's a little bit of controversy surrounding the Morgan Gibbs-white transfer from Nottingham Forest to Spurs. To guide us through it is super agent, all-round good egg as well, is Sky Andrew. He joins us now. Good afternoon, Sky.
Good afternoon, Boogie.
How are you, bud? How are you, matey?
And hi, Eddie.
How you doing, Sky? You good?
Sky, yeah, good, yeah.
Sky, talk us through... there's a release clause in the contract. It's not something that's particularly common in England. I know in Spain it's something that happens a huge amount. Tell us about it, why it's there, and the fact that Spurs have matched it. Where's the problem in my eyes?
Well, it's interesting. I've been in contracts for about 30 years, and a sticking point is always the buyout clause. Not so much in Spain. In Spain, they just put so-called ridiculous numbers in so that the player can never be bought anyway. But in England, a buyout clause is only put in when a player's going to a club and the player and his agent feel that there's another move. So they don't want to get stuck at a club where they don't want to be at. So sometimes players' stock goes up and sometimes player stocks go down. But in this particular case, Morgan Gibbs-white is worth a lot more than 60 million. You know, that's why any club would want to buy him. He's got a buyout clause of 60, but he's worth more than that. If I could bottle what that kid's got and put it into all our other players, I would do. He's got a phenomenal attitude. He's got that desire that a lot of players haven't got. So obviously he's in demand. Now, when an agent's involved in a situation like this, they have to decide which side they're going to go on. And an agent can decide whether or not they go on the buying side or the selling side. Now, if an agent wants people to know what the buying clause is, buyout clause is, then they'll obviously tell people. If they don't, if they want to protect the club where the player's at, then they'll keep it confidential. But there are different forms of buyout clauses. There are buyout clauses where clubs say, we have to tell you if this offer comes in. There are buyout clauses that says, we will allow you to go if this number comes in. So the agent is normally the person in the middle, and the information normally comes from an agent, because clubs use agents, players use agents. Agents are normally the people in the middle sharing information.
Sky, just hold on 1 second, please. Let's have a draw.
So yeah, just reacting to what he said, what Sky said there. Sky was saying something about in terms of the release clause or buyout clause that comes from the agent, not from the buying, the selling club. And basically, he's saying, this information must have come from the agent, and it depends on what the kind of buyout clause is. And he's not mentioning anything about anything confidential. I think he mentioned it, but I missed it. But let's just continue listening to what he's saying.
There's been a wicket in the cricket. Sam Allard is watching day 2, third testing.
Who cares about the wickets in the cricket? I don't give a shit about that. Let's move forward.
It's only football. Let's not be naive.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, how much is a club prepared to pay for a player? Trust me, if a club is going to pay way over the odds and pay more than what the buyout clause says, then there isn't a problem. Here, we have a situation that happens rarely, where you would say a player outperforms a club. If a club outperforms a player, then they let the player go. But this player, Morgan...
Have you had car finance since 2007? You could be owed...
Don't want to listen to that, man. So basically, you can see where this is going, but I want to get to the other bit of the news of what he's trying to say. I just hope Tottenham don't get involved in all this mess.
Super talent. He's performed to such a high level that, in my eyes, his value isn't 60 million. He's £100 million player.
But Sky, if there's £60 million buyout, that's the deal that was signed.
He's not £100 million player, so I don't know where Sky got that from, man. Come on, man. Is he getting some of the money? He's not, Morgan Gibbs-white, yes, he's a good player, but he's not £100 million player, man. Come on. What are we doing here, man? Cunha is 100 million. Cunha went for 60. Morgan Gibbs-white is not 100 million. So let's continue listening.
If he's £100 million player, why didn't they put £100 million as a release clause?
Yeah, you see, this is where clubs have got to have very smart people around, because football, a lot of it is speculation. When the player first came to Forest, he wasn't a £100 million player. He wasn't a £60 million player. But you have to give Forest credit for identifying a player who was doing well, but had the potential to be great. So clubs deserve to be rewarded for taking that so-called risk to take a player.
I don't understand that, man. You don't understand that. I don't get that. If you buy a player, you buy a player for 30 million or 25 million. When you buy that player, you see that player in your team, you have a feeling this player is going to be... Because not all players have those release buyout clause in their contract. Not all players. So you look at this player, I think this player is going to be good. For you to safeguard yourself, you need to put a buy. If you want to put a buyout clause in, you have to be sure of the amount you are putting in. and then you have to live by that amount. You can't decide once the amount has been triggered for the buyout clause. You can't decide, oh, you know what, we're going to change the amount clause now, the clause now, the release clause, or whatever they call the buyout clause now. I think what Forest are trying to do, yes, they realize this player is worth more than the 60 they put there, but because they should have maybe renegotiate his contract at the end of the season. Immediately at the end of this season, they should have sat him down and give him a new contract with a new buyout clause or something, or extend his contract. But club have to they have to be rewarded, yes, but you can't be rewarded for something that you are not smart about, you are not clever about to put the right figure that you think roughly the player will be worth. Morgan Gibbs-white is not £100 million player, though. Let's get that.
Knowing that that player is going to accrue in value. So now the player, in my eyes, is worth 100 million. I mean, he makes a difference. He will make a difference to any team. There's very few players that you can say you can put in a
I'm still saying he's not £100 million player. Come on, what are we doing here, man? I think this is just British tax, man, or English tax, man. He's not If he's worth £100 million player, then how much is what's his name? The guy that went from Lyon to Man City. I can't remember his name now. How much is he worth? I think we are putting too much British tax on these players. He's not £100 million player. Let's get real.
Do this 7 minutes a day until May.
Let's continue listening because I want to listen to what he says at the end of it. This is the football transfer hub where we get the latest transfer news. Remember, Gyökeres he's going to face this disciplinary action from his club side because he was supposed to report to training today, but it was not reported. It was not reported to training, and Sporting Lisbon just released a statement about 30 minutes ago saying he's going to be disciplined. Also, Morgan Gibbs-white, Forest today they played a friendly. He was not in the Forest team. So obviously, the transfer saga is still going on, and that one will continue till
and make the team more dynamic. And Morgan Gibbs-white is one of those players. He's absolutely superb.
Sky, I agree with you. I'm not even gonna lie. Actually, definitely at one point, I wanted him at Liverpool. I actually think he's that good, especially in that midfield. So I'm curious. So with 60 million being the buyout clause, that's basically the money they can stump up. So once they've gone, look, I've got 60 million for you, and they've reached the clause in the contract. Therefore, and Morgan Gibbs wants to go. Would then a deal happen?
Well, look, the situation is this: is that a club that has the player's registration is within their rights to say, we want the 60 million up front, but not in installments.
Okay.
A bit like what happened with Neymar. When Neymar went to PSG, he had a 200 million euro buyout.
Mm-hmm.
And Barcelona said, no, you got to give it to us all up front. 2 days later, PSG were writing a check. So when transfer deals are done, the clubs agree payment terms, and those payment terms are normally understanding. Clubs understand each other, that they've got bills to pay and that they want to make installments over the terms of the player's contract. But if a club is not happy with how it's gone about and then say, look, our player's been tapped up, normally the resolution is for the buying club to pay what the club wants. But here we have a situation where the buyout is 60 million. And if the buyout is 60 million, the buying club has to pay the money and in the terms that Forest want. So there's where the dilemma is. Clubs know that people, agents especially, are going around talking big business, small world. Clubs want to know, does a player want to come? What does the player want? And all that kind of stuff. So that's why these conversations go on. And here's the thing, guys, it's very difficult to prove tapping up. It's very difficult to prove that a club went direct to a player without the permission of a club. We're getting into all sorts of things here. phone records and everything. If it goes to arbitration, where it must go within the football rules and regs.
Medical weight loss is not cheating.
So
It's
yeah,
actually-
so basically, what Sky is saying there is it's going to be difficult for Forest to prove tapping. It happens, and everybody will be saying that as well. How will you prove that Tottenham have tapped? They've broken the rules, and they've gone behind to speak to Morgan Gibbs-White's agents. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. It's just going to be dragged on. I think Tottenham should put a deadline on this. As a Tottenham fan, if it drags on for a week or two, no resolution, maybe they should just pack up and go and find another player for that £60 million. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for Forest as well. I think it's going to be difficult for them, and it's going to be difficult for them to ask for what they actually want, because this release clause or buyout clause has been met by Tottenham, and they've agreed to it. Sorry, and it's just going to be the terms now.
The clubs went direct to the player or to the agent, and most clubs know that's very difficult to prove. So this is a case now of how much will the buying club pay for the player, and it won't be 60 million. It'll probably have to be more.
So Marinakis is threatening to sue Spurs. Have Spurs done anything wrong? I mean, it's difficult to answer that, but based on your last question, your last answer.
I don't understand that, because if one says it's difficult, the release clause has been met. It's 60 million. Then he said the buying club has the right to determine the payment terms, so they could say to Tottenham, we want the full payment, 60 million. Then lastly, he said, Tottenham have to pay a lot more than the 60 million. So I don't understand why they have to pay a lot more than the 60 million, which is a bit confusing.
So sorry. But right here, right now, where do Forest go from here? What's their next move? Because it's not going to happen. Let's be honest, that's simply not going to take place. How do you think this is going to play out over the next 24, 48 hours?
Yeah, I'll say this once, I'll say this twice. Clubs have got to have people in the club that understand the psyche of players and of agents. The bottom line is that no one knew that Morgan's Gibbs-white was going to be this good. And he has become this good. So it depends how serious Marinakis is. To me, Marinakis looks like a serious guy. He looks like, I wouldn't mess with him, yeah? So, well, actually, I would, because I've messed with people more scarier than him. But, he has got to decide where he wants to go with this. Because once a player says they want to leave, it's very difficult to keep that player at the club. Then the resolution is normally to just get the best deal you can for the club. So Marinakis and his people have got to sit down with Morgan's Gibbs-white and decide where they go from here. But come on, man, football's very, very straightforward. A club's job is to identify players, identify the best players within their squad, and then to decide when they offer them new contracts. Now, what a lot of clubs would have done is, and I'm not saying there's a disparity on Forest, but if a player performs to a high level, the first thing you do is offer them a new contract, check out the buyout clause.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. It does make me laugh when fans come on and say, the Newcastle fans say he's worth 150 million. Well, pay him 150 million pounds worth of players' wages then. Give him that money if that's what he's worth.
I've heard you say that. If I had a pound every time I've heard you say that, I'd be living in the Cayman Islands with Andy and all his mates.
Hey, well, please. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up.
So yeah, that's the way it is. You can hear from Sky Andrews, top agent, super agent, used to be an agent for Saul Campbell, and he's just dropped everything on the line there. Forest are just playing hardball. They got to sit down with the player, and they've got to come out of it looking credible in terms of the money they want for this player. Tottenham, for me, I don't think Tottenham should pay more than that 60 million, because that's the buyout clause. They've agreed to pay that buyout clause, and Tottenham should just pay that buyout clause. And there's nothing Forest can do, but it might be dragging on a little bit. Let's check on the other news in terms of rumors, transfers, and all that kind of stuff. Let's check on that quickly before we wrap up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. 6-yard box. We got the Club World Cup final tomorrow as well. We're watching that live. I don't know what time that will be, so make sure you join me for that one. Victor Gyökeres, we can see the latest news on that one. Sporting have released a statement saying in terms of I think it was the sporting director. Arsenal have been in talks to sign 27-year-old, but have so far failed to come to an agreement on the £69 million deal. Varandes said, "We are calm. Everything can be solved with the closure of the market. A hefty fine and an apology to the group. If they don't want to pay Victor's fair market value, we'll be very comfortable with that for the next 3 years." He's playing our balls. He also says if the geniuses who are devising this strategy think that this puts pressure on me to make it easier for him to leave, not only are they completely wrong, but they are also making it more complicated for the player to leave. No one is above interest of the club, whoever they are. That's according to the sporting director, and Sporting are believed to want an initial fee of 60.4 million upfront plus 8.6 million in add-ons. They put their balls on the line, man. Sporting, they are not playing. That's how much they want for him. Arsenal should pay that wage, pay that money, or this guy is not going anywhere, to be honest. And we'll see what happens on that one. On the other deal as well, let's see the latest. Let's go and check the latest transfer news. Let's go and see the BBC transfer gossip. Let's see what that one is saying. According to BBC, Chelsea want 100 million for Jackson. That's still not going to happen. Bayern submit bid for Liverpool Diaz on Friday. That was on Friday. Let me just go because I want to get where this is coming from. Let me just see. So yeah, these are the latest transfer news. I'm just trying to find football. Get the news. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, share all that good stuff. And yeah, so let's get straight into the news. Latest transfer news. It is stick that in. No, that's not the one I want. Let me see if I can finish this before this battery conks off. Yeah, let's quickly wrap up this. Yeah, the latest transfer news. Chelsea set huge asking price for Nicolas Jackson. Barcelona turned Marcus Rashford in their own turn to Marcus Rashford in their own for new left winger. Juventus agree fee for Jadon Sancho. According to the Mail, Chelsea set £100 million asking price for Senegalese striker Nicolas Jackson amid interest from AC Milan. They're not going to get that, that's for sure. Manchester United and England Marcus Rashford on the books of Barcelona. Colombian Liverpool winger has got bid from Barcelona and got a bid from so they failed. Barcelona wanted Liverpool Diaz as well. We know they failed in their pursuit of Nico Williams. Juventus have agreed a £20 million euro, £17.3 million deal with Manchester United for Jadon Sancho. Tottenham are still interested in DR Congo, Johan Witzer, and finally Forest are weighing up a bid worth 25 million plus add-ons for England under 21 attacking midfielder James McAtee. Manchester United won 40 million according to the Mail. Atlanta wants a bid of the latest at least 50 million to even consider selling 21-year-old Italian centre back Giorgio Scalvini, who is wanted by Newcastle and Manchester United. And that's it really in terms of that. According to the Mirror, Colombian wing back Daniel Minos, 29, hopes to leave Crystal Palace this summer despite only signing a new contract in April. Those are all the gossips on this Saturday afternoon with the sun out. And this is the transfer hub. This is 6 Yard Box. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And the big news is basically Sporting playing at ball. Victor Gyökeres is going to be on a disciplinary action because he failed to turn up for training today. The other big news is Morgan Gibbs-white was not in the Newcastle team. Was not in the Forest team that played today in a friendly. The saga continues, and also, we were listening to Sky Andrews, one of the super agents, talking about, the Morgan Gibbs-white saga, and basically he's saying the two clubs or the two parties, Morgan Gibbs-white and the player, have to sit down, and Forest have to iron out a deal that will make all parties really, really happy. So let me know in the comments what you think about this. This is the transfer hub, and we try to cover all the transfer news. 6 Yard Box. If you want to know the name of the channel, make sure you subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you next time. Take care. God bless.